Welcome everyone to my review of the SH Figuarts Eternals Ikaris figure, as this has been released as part of the new Phase 4 wave for the Eternals movie. And this is my second review in the line following the Cersei figure, which I did recently. And obviously in the comics, Ikaris is known as the main character, but I believe in the film, Cersei is the star of the show. So now we can finally take a look at probably the most anticipated character, at least from the trailers, with all his superpowers and laser beams. A lot of people are most interested in the Ikaris character. So let's first focus on the packaging, which I normally do, and you can see that they've kind of switched up the new design. No more real photo or digital print of the character. For the Eternals, they've used kind of like a art design drawing, like the other two as well. And they've used like a gold kind of text on this and all the way around the box. And you can see that it's really nice in terms of the theme of the Eternals. Really matches the colorful costumes they wear. And you can see on the side we have the usual pictures of the figure and the titles. And now we can unbox the Ikaris figure. And just like the Cersei one, it includes a very colorful background. This is a blue color which matches the costume of Ikaris. And then the manual to show you how to put on the accessories. And here is the Ikaris figure inside its packaging. So now we can take a look at the Ikaris figure out of its packaging. And my first impressions is I really like the look of the costume. Certainly we have the bright blue colors. It's kind of like a blend mixture of dark and light. And then we also have the gold design as well. In the comics, I believe Ikaris kind of had red design as well, but for the MCU, they probably wanted to keep it a bit more simple. And you can see that they've used like a shine type of paint finish on the shoulders and arms and also the chest. And the rest of it is a matte finish. So it's a really nice design in terms of the paint job. And you can see all the fine details at the back. I believe it will be very accurate to the movie. I'm not too sure if it's that bright in the film, but from what I'm seeing, this is going to be a pretty vibrant color, and it's going to certainly stand out in your Marvel display for your figures. And you can see for the bottom, they've also used like a rubber material, just like the Cersei figure, which is probably better than say cloth. And obviously it should be able to move the legs, but we'll test out the articulation later on. And then for the head sculpt, I'm not too familiar with the actor Richard Madden, but from what I'm seeing in the trailers and posters, I think the face sculpt is actually pretty good. I don't have much complaints about it. It's pretty detailed from all angles, and I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but in person it's a bit more clear. The hair is dyed at the front a bit grey, which I believe is accurate to the film. So that's just a quick first look at the Ikaris figure, and we can now test out the articulation and then we'll move on to the accessories. So now for the movement of the Ikaris figure, and I'm going to start off with the head sculpt, and it can go side to side, no problem, and it should be able to rotate all the way around if you want, and it can also tilt left and right like this, and then forwards a little bit and upwards slightly, which may be important especially when he's shooting the laser beams. And then for the arms, there are two shoulder pads which are not movable, but for you to stretch the arms you have to kind of shove them inside, and then you can move the arms sideways, and then it can go forwards, upwards, backwards, standard arm movement. And you can also turn it this way and outwards as well, so I do like the arm movement here. And then the elbows bend backwards quite a lot, which I also really like. And then for the hands, we can rotate them, and there's also a small hinge, but obviously it can take the hand apart, so you got to do it slightly more careful because it does happen for SH Figuarts. And then we can test out the body. So upper half, it can rotate side to side and also this way, and tilt forwards a little bit and backwards this much. And then for the waist, unlike the Cersei figure, which doesn't turn at all, this one does have full rotation and then side to side as well. And then a body crunch slightly forwards, possibly for the, again, laser shooting poses. and then backwards not so much, but you get a little bit. And then for the legs, you get this plastic rubber in the way, but it doesn't really hinder anything. You can kick forwards, backwards it does, it kind of blocks it in the way, but then the legs also go side to side, rotates no problem. And then we have a good knee bend, which is pretty standard still for SH Figuarts. And then for the foot, you have a twist 360 and also a hinge, and then the toe hinge as well. So articulation, I think it's pretty smooth and I don't see any problem with it. So now let's change up the accessories, starting off with the alternate head sculpt. So here is the alternate head sculpt that's included for the Ikaris figure. As you can see, it is quite different to the standard version with all these effects that wraps around the head and face. I'm not exactly sure what it will be in the film, but I believe it will be to charge up his powers before he fires the laser beams. As you can see, with the eyes is painted gold, and this is like the Cersei figure. And even though I do like the standard face, this one is probably better for your display, especially when you pair it up with the effects. So yeah, I do like this head sculpt slightly better and will probably use it as my main display. And the figure does include 2 extra pairs of hands, which is one less than the Cersei one since she had to hold on to the weapons. And they're both quite similar in terms of just being open palms. And this is the first one. And here is the second set of alternate hands. So the figure does include these 2 effect parts, which are to be wrapped around the shoulder of Ikaris, and they are quite thin and bendable, so you got to be a bit careful. And unlike the previous figures like the Avengers Endgame 4, they kind of just sit around the figure, but for this one you can kind of just plug it in, so I'll quickly do that now. And once they're plugged in, they won't really fall off, so you can see on the back. And the final accessory that's included is the laser eye effects, which I've currently placed on the stand that's included. Be extra careful when you plug it in because this stand is actually quite thin, so it could break quite easily, and it even says it in the instruction manual. So what you do is just kind of place it next to Ikaris' eyes, and you get that kind of fire of the laser beams, which looks excellent for a display, something you don't really get too often for MCU SH Figuarts. I know they made that reference in the trailer about Superman, and this effect would actually work for him. So hopefully maybe in the future, if they release more Superman figures, they can kind of add this effect for that figure. So yeah, even though you can't really plug it into the eyes itself, it's actually a good addition to the figure. So I'm kind of pleased for this laser beam and wondering how it will look like in the movie. And here it is next to some of the other Eternals SH Figuarts that have been released in the line, with Cersei on the right and Kingo on the left. And here it is next to some more recent releases with the Falcon and Shang-Chi figures. Of course, we could be seeing this in the future Avengers movies. So now for my overall thoughts for the Ikaris SH Figuarts. I think it's a good addition to the new Phase 4 line, as they have got the basics right. Not only is the costume sculpted well with different paints and colours, the head sculpt is also quite accurate in my opinion. The alternate head sculpt, which I do prefer, has the effects, and of course we get the laser eye effects. So more or less we have all the poses you can do for Ikaris. I would have liked maybe an extra head sculpt, like an aggressive face, and ones where you can actually connect the laser beams to the eyes. Then we would allow a bit more posing rather than limiting it to only the one on the stand. As we saw in the promo photos, we have Ikaris kind of flying and using the laser beams. So to do that, we're going to have to probably get another stand just for the Ikaris. But all in all, this alongside the Cersei and Kingo figure is certainly the cheapest SH Figuarts I have picked up at a reasonable price of around $35 US. So I can't really complain. As for the collection, I don't know if Bandai will give us more characters, but if you get the Ikaris and Cersei, it's certainly a great start, and I definitely recommend at least these 2. So my score would be a 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and of course you can watch the Cersei review. I will put the link in the description below, and also stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.